Let's talk Tanya for the 3rd of Sivan. Today we are going to conclude chapter 53 in Tanya, and with this actually conclude also the entire first part of Tanya. And today we are going to end off the conversation, the discussion that we started in the beginning of chapter 51. The basic idea that we've learned over the last few chapters is that the Shekhinah itself is way too intense to be able to enter creation. It contains, in a very condensed form and a concentrated form, all the energy of creation. So therefore, it only can enter creation by entering into the Torah of every given world, which is called the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the Holy of Holies. And the reason for that is because the Torah is God's wisdom, which is even higher than the Shekhinah. And then yesterday we explained that although there are different levels of the Shekhinah coming down here into this world, today, in our situation today with the destruction of the Holy Temple, the Shekhinah enters every single one of us when we study Torah and when we do mitzvahs. With this, we can understand that which we spoke about in chapter 35 of Tanya, which we again mentioned in the beginning of chapter 51. And the Rebbe brings down over there a metaphor from the Zohar, which is, that says that every single one of us, our bodies, we are a wick. The Shekhinah, the divine presence, is the flame. And in order for the flame to remain connected and attached to the wick, it requires oil. And what is the oil? The oil is the uvdan tavan, is the good deeds, the action mitzvahs that we do. And the question that we asked is, in general, in Chassidus, when we talk about oil, oil is a metaphor for wisdom. So why are we saying over here that the action mitzvahs are the oil? But now we understand. When we do a mitzvah, so we are actually connecting to the Shekhinah, because as we just finished explaining, every time we do a mitzvah, we are right now hosting the Shekhinah within us. But how and why is it that our physical actions have the ability to be able to contain the Shekhinah? The answer is because of the shemen, because of the oil. Because every mitzvah that I am doing, where is this mitzvah sourced in? This mitzvah is sourced in the Torah. Torah is God's wisdom, and that is the oil. So yes, we do mitzvahs, and through that, we have the Shekhinah above our heads, and the Shekhinah rests upon us because the mitzvahs that we are doing are based in God's wisdom, which is even above and beyond the Shekhinah. And here the Alter Rebbe also points to a different aspect of the metaphor, which we did not really focus on earlier, which is the idea of the wick. Yes, there is the flame, and there is the mitzvahs. The flame is the Shekhinah, the mitzvahs are the oil. But just those two alone also doesn't work. We have to have a wick. And there needs to be a wick that is constantly being consumed by the fire. And that is the body. There can be no hasharas hashchina. The Shekhinah will not rest anywhere unless there is something physical, a physical body, a wick that is being consumed by the fire of holiness. What does that mean, that our body is being consumed? So as we've studied in Tanya, there are two different types of people. There is the tzaddik. The tzaddik is someone who's actually transformed their animal soul. So their wick, which is their body and their animal soul, has been actually consumed by holiness, by godliness. And then there's the most of us. We are strugglers. We cannot say that the essence of our animal soul and its feelings and its temperament, its inclinations have been transformed. But its garments, its thoughts, speech, and action on a constant basis are being burnt and consumed and elevated to godliness and to holiness. When we started Tanya, chapter 1, we mentioned that the first words of Tanya are tehi tzaddik, to be a tzaddik. Because although we are strugglers and we struggle against our animal soul, and most of us will not be able to transform it completely, all of us are tasked with trying to the extent possible to transform ourselves, to become holier people, to become more refined people, not only in thought, speech, and action, but actually to use our Chabad, our minds, to create some sort of inner transformation, even if it won't be complete. Here we are in the closing section of the last part of Tanya, and we are coming around full circle. We need to bring godliness down here into this world, and we do it in two ways. We always need the wick. The wick needs to be consumed. When we refine ourselves, that is a wick which is being consumed. We are actually consuming our character. But even in those areas where we still struggle, we're still the wick, because ultimately the wick constitutes or consists of our thoughts, speech, and action. As the Alter Rebbe says, Nishlam chelek rishon Be'ezras Hashem Yisbarach v'Yis'ala. We have completed the first section of Tanya with God's help. Mazel tov on that. And tomorrow, God willing, we will start the second part of Tanya, which we will introduce tomorrow.